Hello, Terence. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
Good afternoon, Rokas. Nice to meet you. Yes, I'm from South Africa. I am proudly 50 years old, and I'm one of the old timer GMs on the Real World Campus. I joined the Real World
Very cool.
Campus in April, the end of April 2024. So I'm also quite new.
That's about 3 to 4 months, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And what led to you joining?
So I've been following Andrew Tate now for a while on his other social media accounts, and I've been going through a very, very tough period of my life in the last 2 or 3 years. And I got an advertisement on LinkedIn about the Real World Campus. And I looked at it at first with a bit of suspicion because I didn't even think that it was real, to be honest. And I said to myself, I like what Tate is saying. I like his message. And I thought to myself, I'm going to subscribe. And if I lose $49 because it's a scam or something, that's okay. I can live with it. And so I subscribed. And that is
hmm
where things got really interesting for me.
hmm You said you're having a tough time past few years.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable going deeper into what that was about?
100% Rockus. I'm very comfortable to talk about it because I think one of my advantages that I can give to the real world is real life experience. I'm obviously a little bit older maybe than the average student, so I can proudly say that I've seen a lot and witnessed a lot and been through a lot as a man. And the bottom line is, in the last maybe 5 or 6 or maybe even longer 7 years, I lost my way a little bit. I lost my way with God. I lost my way with my physical fitness. I lost my way in business. And I hate to say it, but I think I started feeling sorry for myself a little bit and feeling like the victim, that everything was conspired against me. And at a very particular low point at the end of April, um, that is when I joined the Real World Campus. And it took me, I wasn't immediately active on the campus. It took me about 2 weeks to come online. And at first, I was completely intimidated by everything that was going on. It was completely overwhelming. I didn't even understand half of the language that was being typed because, again, I'm a little bit older and I haven't been keeping myself up to space or up to speed on the digital space. And what I did at the beginning was I basically looked at everything to try and get a broader understanding of all the campuses and everything that was going on. And then that's when I
hmm
realized that I need to become a man again. I need to become a warrior. I need to get myself back on track with God. I need to get back on track with my physical fitness. And I started honing in then on certain campuses that made sense to me, like the Real World, Business Mastery, Fitness. And that's how my journey began. And then it literally became an addiction for me, that I cannot go a day without being on the Real World Campus. So I feel very much part
hmm
of a bigger brotherhood now, and I feel like I've got lots of value to add as an old timer GM.
Beautiful. I would like to know some more, just so if someone listening
Yeah.
is maybe going through something similar that you were before, just for them to have an understanding, where do you think that came from for you, losing your way and being lost for those years? Where did that stem from?
So I've been a millionaire before. I was a millionaire already when I was 30 years old, and things went badly, after that. And that the pain of losing, my business, um, the pain of losing some of my assets. I also went through a divorce all at the same time. I think I lost a little bit of my confidence, and I started. One of the first things that I realized now recently is that I started worrying about or caring about what people thought about me because of what I deemed to be a failure. And that was something that I never had from a young man until the age of, let's say, 30, 38, 39, when I lost everything. And then from the age of 38, 39 until the age of 50, really, those 12 years, is where I lost my way. I found myself floundering from, one thing to the other, being reasonably successful, and then it going down again, not being able to really, I think, just stick it out as a more solid man, as a warrior. Okay. And I didn't lean on enough with God. Like I said, I lost my way with Him. I've always been a spiritual man. I've always believed in God, but I didn't speak to Him as much as I do now. I lost my way physically also. I've always prided myself in being a very fit man, a very sport man, and I neglected that also. And so it was a downward spiral, literally. And then it culminated in a peak of events again towards the end of last year, going into this year, that I hit rock bottom. And it was out of that rock bottom place that I found the real world campus. And it has single handedly lifted my mind and my strength and my conviction to a new level. So it's been absolutely
Mhm.
amazing.
And the final point, would you be able to expand on what rock bottom was for you, or is that too personal?
No, I'm happy to share it again because I want my message to reach as many people as possible, Rokas, particularly men. Part of my journey in the last 6 months, I've been astounded to find out, because I'm networking now with men all the time, and I'm not talking about on the real world campus, just around me, that men are going through very tough life problems, and we don't talk about it. And we need to start forming like brotherhoods of men, as groups of men to stick together, very similar to what the Tate brothers do, and so on. So yes, I'm happy to share. So what happened now again at the end of last year is I lost my business. In other words, it had to be liquidated because I take full responsibility, of course, but there were some circumstances out of my control that maybe I didn't manage correctly or fast enough. And that whole process of being liquidated is, of course, a very painful process, particularly in South Africa. And then on top of that, I started experiencing problems with my partner, my life partner, my fiance. We'd been together for 12 years, and we've got the most beautiful boy together. He's my only child. And by the end of last year, I ended up having an affair, which I'm not proud of at all. And when I opened up to her at the beginning of this year about it, because I just realized it was completely wrong and not the right way to do things, she then decided to leave me, but she took my boy with her. And that is
Mhm.
when I hit rock bottom. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I have never loved anything more than my son.
That hits me pretty hard as well because now that feels like that's the next stage of my life, having a family and children.
Yeah.
So yeah, can imagine.
So interestingly,
Um,
Rokas, is that since a young man, I always wanted to be married and have a woman, a good life partner. But I was always a little bit skeptical about children. And I had my boy when I was 44. And when he arrived, I can't explain it. My life just changed.
that's what I wanted to ask. How does your perspective on the world change after something like that when you see your child being born?
So the bottom line is, I cannot understand how a father could ever just leave a relationship and leave his children behind and just disappear off the face of the planet like many fathers do. I can't understand how anybody would do that. I It doesn't matter what happens with me and my life partner, but I can assure you that I will remain an active father and be very much part of his life until the day I die. I cannot
Mhm.
understand it. He is sometimes the single biggest reason why I am able to get up in the morning and do what I need to do, right? Because I mostly only operate on discipline and not motivation anymore because things are so hard. Only discipline every
Mhm.
day is what gets me going. And the discipline of knowing that he's there and he's looking up to me and expecting me to show him what it is like to be a man, a real man, is what drives me. It absolutely drives me.
Mhm. I see. So that is your fuel, and then you're saying when you joined the real world, it gave you the guidance for where to direct that fuel. Did I understand correctly?
100%. You know, that masculinity challenge, joining the hero's journey, just reading other posts of other real world um, students, you know, reading Tate's daily message. There are a few professors also, I love their daily message. You know, sometimes it might be pertaining to crypto, for example, like the daily lessons on crypto, but often it's got a life lesson behind it, you know. So,
Mhm.
and it's amazing. Every single time I'm having a challenge or an issue that I'm facing, I get exactly the right lesson that I need to hear on the day. It's astounding.
Beautiful.
It's absolutely astounding. Yeah.
And which were the most impactful areas of the real world for you? Because you mentioned community, you mentioned the fitness campus. Are you basically? I haven't gone through the fitness campus myself, so how has that helped you? Are you just applying everything within it, or things you used to do? Like, how are you using it every day?
I'm enjoying the daily lessons a lot on fitness campus, and I'm also enjoying to see the progress of everybody else on the fitness. But I think I get most of my joy from the actual real world campus and the business mastery campus, because they are
Mhm.
encompassing all spheres of business and life. Doesn't matter what you're really doing. And then I've also started dabbling quite a bit in the crypto, because it's something that I know nothing about. I just knew about it out there. And so I've been studying on the crypto quite a bit. And I've also started to join the AI campus, because that again is something completely new to somebody of my age or my
Mhm.
generation. Um, you know, a lot of the other things like hustling or e-commerce and things I've done a little bit of in the past, and not necessarily on purpose, but by accident, because that was just, you know, what I did. So I have a basic understanding of that.
Mhm. For the business mastery campus, since you said your business got liquidated earlier at the start of the year, or was it towards the end of last year?
End of last year.
Um, do you have a new business now that you're working on since you're in the business mastery campus?
Yes, I've got a new business that I'm working on, and that's going well. It's been it's a very tough journey to try, and while you're going through all that negativity and closure of the one business, to be optimistic and positive about another. And I've done that reasonably well. But again, the message on the real world campus has helped me to understand that you can actually use the pain and the fear and the anxiety to your advantage, which is something that I wasn't quite familiar with in the past.
Was that? I remember that being a lesson from Luke
Yeah.
that most people they operate. Let's say they only use one type of fuel. Um, Maybe let's say motivation or some kind of emotion. Only that is what they run off of. And if they're not feeling that emotion, they're not able to operate as well. But there is a reality where you can use any kind of emotion as the fuel, any kind of feeling as fuel for you to persevere and to get the discipline. So is that what you're saying you're able to do?
100%. One of the lessons that I listened to today from Professor Michael Chi on crypto was using fear to your advantage. And of course, he was referring mostly to crypto markets. But the message that I got there today was, in the more pain you're in, the more fear you're in, you need more action, not less. And it's an amazing ability to get right, because if your natural tendency when you have more pain and more fear is to want to curl up in a little ball and just hope things go away over time. But if you actually action activity to counter, all of a sudden, it's almost like God and the universe blesses you, and you start getting more breakthroughs quicker, because you have managed to do something at a time where most people will actually just stop.
Hmm.
Yeah. But it's
And I
difficult to
think,
do, because you need to do it again and again and again. And just when you think you can't do it again, you need to do it again. And then that's when you start seeing the
mhm,
breakthroughs happening. And it comes always where you least expect it. Always.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's I've heard that way too many times for that to be a coincidence. There really is something there with as long as you put the energy out
Yeah.
and you're actually doing things, taking action, so many opportunities present themselves that you don't expect at all.
It's actually astounding to the point where it's almost unbelievable. And Rokas, I just want to come back to the fitness. The one thing on the fitness that's helped me a lot personally is that, of course, I train every day, and it doesn't always have to be a massive workout. It could be a set of push-ups or sit-ups. But I've also found that if you really are distressed in your mind and in your heart, a little bit of physical activity, even a short brisk walk, has got an amazing way of just clearing your head and putting you back into perspective and then carrying on again. So that's been a major, major help for me. Never mind the transformation of the
Mhm,
body, because of course, if you've got a strong body, you've got a strong mind and a strong spirit. They go together.
mhm. How I look at it now is something I learned recently. Just reframing it to physical hygiene instead of something like physically working out. Because the same way that you'd take a shower for hygiene,
Hmm.
the same way you need to do exercise every day for your physical hygiene.
Yeah,
It's just again to make sure your brain works at full capacity. Just everything, endorphins. There's so many benefits to exercise every day, and without it can even be for some people the sole reason why they get out of a slump or a like really rough place. Just starting to actually exercise and move your body does wonders. So yeah,
100%. And I've also found that the best time to exercise is when you feel like it the least.
true,
You get that right.
true.
It's it's an absolute winner.
Hmm. Awesome. Now, business mastery lessons.
Excuse me.
Which ones were the most useful to you? Which ones did you implement for your business?
Um, so I've used a lot of Top G's tutorial just for general motivation and an understanding of business and business mastery. Those are the two in the business mastery campus that I've tackled the most. So business mastery and then the Top G tutorial.
Hmm. Any examples of what you implemented into your business from those lessons? Just let's say one example.
It's actually been a multitude of things, Rokas. I can't really pinpoint it. I can say one example was money in was a good one.
Hmm.
I don't know if I got it from this particular campus, but money in. You have to focus on getting money in before you do anything, right? If the money is not coming in, the business is dead. And that was a very, very big one for me. The other one was just general motivation about the understandings of business, what's important, what's unimportant. Um, those were good, solid lessons. The other one was testing ideas or any new products or anything that you would like to test in business. Is there means and ways of actually testing the market without expending too much capital or no capital? Which,
Hmm.
if it's going to fail, it's going to fail with very little. I know my business that failed a year or so ago. I think I had too much invested. We, Tate will love it. I went at great speed. I always work at great speed, but on that particular one, we didn't test the market thoroughly enough, and then I was too invested, and I ended up losing a lot of money. I think if I tested the market a little bit more, but with speed, I would have been in a better position.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Understood. And would there be, even though, okay, so for some context, before you do answer, clearly you have a lot of experience in business, so it wouldn't be solely attributed what you would have gained financially to the real world. But if you were to give a rough estimate from the lessons that you applied from the real world, what did that relate to in terms of increase in income?
No, it's actually been quite astounding because of some of the principles in the real world that have been applied. So, just a general better mindset, first of all, about the fact that it's difficult and it's hard and it's like that for everybody. And you need to make sure that you keep on going and you never give up. So, there was a point already now before joining the real world where I felt like I actually just couldn't carry on anymore. And it was what I learned on the campus in general that made me push on. And then the sales started coming in. And the sales have been quite astronomical, actually, in a very short space of time. So if I'd given up, of course, there would be nothing. It would have been a failure story. And I don't mean give up completely, but I would have given up in that line of business maybe, where it needed me to push on a little bit more. Then the other thing which is important is the lessons learned in marketing on how to approach a lead or a client. That has been astounding. So it's not the product that I'm selling, it's what value can I bring to you. And the
Mhm.
moment you tell people that you're going to bring them value and not necessarily sell them something, it's amazing how their whole perspective on you changes. Because now you're not just trying to take their money away from them, you're actually coming to bring some value to them. And it's amazing the difference in the reaction you get from prospective clients. So it's allowed me to have more clients that are actually willing to pay for the product and the service that I'm ultimately selling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And if you were to give figures for that, then what would you estimate in terms of increasing in income?
Well, I don't know. Increasing is not necessarily the right word, but what I can say is that in sales, and that's between my project management consulting plus actual physical movement of product, it's in the region of $40,000 to $50,000 in the last 3 months.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So yeah, very substantial.
yeah.
Beautiful. And now the final few questions. Since you're on the trajectory now, clearly out of rock bottom, in a upward spiral now, so the opposite, doing very well. As you said, spiritually well, physically well, financially things are getting better. So since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, long term? What plans do you have?
So I would like to, the business that I'm involved in currently, I would like to scale that business. That's on my short term trajectory right now. That business needs to scale. The market opportunity for that particular business is massive. So I want to scale that business. So I'm having a meeting this afternoon with the clients straight after this meeting.
Mhm.
Um, and then I have another secondary business also, a project management business that I'd like to scale also in the short term, and that looks very positive. And then on the real world campus, I'm very, very interested in crypto, for not necessarily for trading, because I don't have the skill right now to trade, and I don't have the time, to be honest, on that particular one. But I would like to invest in crypto for a more longer term. So I'm going to be very busy on that. And then I think, the AI campus also is going to help me a lot with client acquisition, getting leads. So I'm going to work a lot on the AI campus. And then also from a spiritual point of view, Rokas, I'm trying to join the council. I've got my application in on the council, so I'd like to see and get myself on there if I can, because I do believe I can add value, and I'm
Mhm.
going to take it from there.
Awesome. I did have some more questions, but we need to wrap up. So here's what we do.
Okay.
In future, let's do a follow up in about 3 months or so. By then, there should be some good changes to report on, and we
Hmm.
can dive deeper into things because I really enjoyed the conversation and I want to do it longer. But yeah, are on a time limit.
Yep.
So for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Well, they're welcome to contact me via email or on phone call on WhatsApp if they like.
Okay. What's email? Actually, just send me the email after. I'll
Yep.
add it to description of video.
Yeah.
So anyone who's interested, check description of the video. Email will be there. And yeah, Terence, great conversation. Thank you for sharing everything. We're like 1 minute left, so I'll end everything here. Again, thank you for coming on. Let's do a follow up in future. And until then, wish you all the best.
Rokas, thank you very much, and thank you to the Real World Campus. Thank you. Keep well.